Hello everybody, welcome to the channel again. Something I wanted to talk about today is I've been talking a lot with people that want to start their braiding adventure, and it's a journey. I mean, there's so much to learn, and it just never ends. The learning does, and that's what keeps it interesting as far as I'm concerned. But I talk to a lot of people that kind of want their first steps in their braiding journey to be a project, a horse gear. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be one of the people that has to burst their bubble, but I would strongly suggest not to do that. There are several other projects that you can do where you can learn and hone your skills. I would also suggest you start, for example, with paracord as a first step, where you can learn how these braids work. When you start doing buttons, you know, what are the dynamics in that button? How does it form? And once you got a good grip on all that, all the possibilities are seemingly endless, what you can learn. But I keep in mind that what one of the masters in our craft, Pablo Lozano, told me, it's better to know 4 braids and 6 buttons and learn to master them than to know 50 braids and 100 buttons. And I really do follow him in that notion. So I hear people that say, I want to start a Riata as my first project. And kudos to them if they can make it work. And a lot of people will start a Riata because it's a 4-plat or maybe a 6-plat braid. Well, guess what? Here is a 4-plat Riata. And the amount of pulling and pushing you have to do on this while you are working with a string that is like 100 foot long, or 100 foot is 30 meters, to end up with a 20 meter Riata. It's so much work, and unless you got some muscle memory, your braid's not going to be even, and it's going to be spiraling around. And this one is 82 feet long, and it took me 4 full days. I had barely skin left on my hands. My arms were sore, my hips were sore, because you want to pull with your whole body. And so I would say a Riata is probably not your best idea for a first project on your rawhide braiding journey. Now, I also hear people like, hey, a bosal. Again, there goes so much in making a really good bosal, as far as feel and tightness of braiding and what have you, or whatever you want to accomplish in a good bosal. I would say a bosal is probably not your best idea to start your rawhide braiding journey. So I told you about the paracord. A second step would be gutting the paracord, which means the inner core, you can pull it out. And then all of a sudden, it wants to go flat. And that's an extra degree of difficulty to keep that paracord laying flat and making good braids. And then leather is an awfully good medium to start and get handy with it. And once you got everything, you can go to the added degree of difficulty being a rawhide, where you need to learn what the optimal moisture is in your string. Now, first of all, for every hide, it's different. every hide is like an individual. Second of all, what I consider just right might be too dry for somebody else, or what somebody else considers just right might be too wet for me. That are things that you're going to need to figure out. And again, to get a good grip of that, going to one of the Rawhide Gatherings that are being held right now, or ours in 7th through 10th of October in Decatur at the NRS Event Center. That's where you can learn and actually feel how other braiders want their string to be. Now, what are good projects to start your journey? Well, here's one. A simple headband. And I'm saying simple, but it's not all that simple. There's a lot going on there. And you can, first of all, you're working with finer string, which is going to be way easier on your hands. And there's a lot of variation you can do. You know, here's another variation. This is just a 12 plate, round braided, I believe this is horsehide. And this is headband. This is headband on the hat that I got right now. And you can learn an awful lot of braids. You can learn an awful lot of buttons. And how the mechanics of it are. And get familiar with it and maybe get some muscle memory. Other projects are, for example, a quirt. Why a quirt? Well, this is probably not the best example. I got a long button with a cowboy weave. I got ring knots. I got a bombazurda here. I got a Turk's head here. So you need some symmetry in this. But again, you can make your first quirts and try different buttons on there. And all of a sudden, the symmetry in it is less important because you make it less important. When symmetry becomes an issue is when you want to start making hobbles. Again, I got these two buttons should be the same. There we go with the symmetry. These two buttons should be the same. Where we go with symmetry. And then this button and this button needs to be the same. Again, a step up in degree of difficulty as far as I'm concerned. And then you can take it further. I mean, this, for example, is done with a Transapatria flat braid. It doesn't have to be round braids. It can be done on a piece of leather with appliques. Going back to the quirts, this is one of the first quirts I ever made. And I believe that the core that I used here was just an old, very stiff heel rope. And I braided leather over it and put some rawhide buttons on there. But just to give you an idea, when I talk about my journey, just look at these two cores, these two quirts, I mean. And there's absolutely no comparison as far as craftsmanship goes. And then when you got all that down, then I'd say, now you're ready to tackle a headstall or Aroma Ring. Again, here, quality of braiding is real important, but also the symmetry. Like you want all your buttons to be the same, to convey the same signal to your horse. And you want it to be comfortable for your horse to wear it. And then I feel you can do stuff like the hackamores. Let me get it here. Like the hackamores. And then it becomes an awful lot of fun. Or if you can get string ready and you got 4 days singled out to do this, and I'm sure there are people that can do it a lot faster than I can, but like I said, before I had this puppy out, I was 4 days further. So anyway, if you want to braid something and you want to go directly into a Riata or a Bozell or a Headstall, race, whatever, by all means be my guest. But from my experience and conversations I had with other beginning braiders, chances are it's going to frustrate you. So start with something small, like jewelry. I mean, I got headbands. This one I made from a deer hide. Again, pretty small strings, which is easy to get your tension right when you're pulling on your string. I did this little thing this is from horsehide. So, a step further, although both are Argentinian trenzapatrias. And don't look down on people that braid jewelry, because that's an art in itself. And even one of the TCAA, the Traditional Cowboy Arts Association, one of their premier braiders, and personally my hero, Pablo Lozano, he did this for my wife. And it's all in horsehide, but look at the complexity of this, how he did that. So, the projects that you can make, it's endless. It doesn't have to be cowboy gear. Of course, it's what I do most and what most braiders want to do most. But all that said, you know, don't overload your boat. Don't try to jump farther than your legs can carry you, because you're going to get frustrated. And a lot of times when people get frustrated, they tend to quit. And the last thing I want to do is see people quit, because this is way too much fun once you get it down. So anyway, I hope I could be of little help to some of y'all, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button and become a subscriber. It'll help us out. And